Welcome to Friday Beyond Spotlights, where we invite leading minds and game changers with incomparable experience and unique knowledge to come to a lighthearted yet informative show. We aim to help business leaders and the wider community gain insights, grasp opportunities, see behind and beyond spotlights, so we can see the full picture, dream bigger, and achieve more together. I'm your host for this episode. My name is Nick Chan, a lawyer and lawmaker. Friday Beyond Spotlights is honored and pleased to present to you our guest today, Mr. Anthony Lam, the Vice Chairman of Golden Resources Group. He served as Executive Deputy Chairman of the Federation of Hong Kong Industries and as Chairman of the Hong Kong QMark Council. Anthony Lam runs one of the most crucial, dependable, and tax-savvy rice importer, wholesaler, and distributor in the world, with Hong Kong as its global headquarters, feeding and delighting rice lovers in Asia, North America, Europe, and Australia. Anthony, welcome to Friday Beyond Spotlights.
Hello, Nick. Thank you very much. I'm very honored.
Anthony, how big is the rice industry and how big is the market?
Well, total rice market is about 510 million metric tons, which is a lot.
Per year consumption?
Per year consumption.
Wow.
Okay, so it's basically, I would say 99.9% of the people do eat rice. It varies from different countries. For example, Bangladeshis. In Bangladesh, per capita consumption is around about 268 kg per person per year. That's the top of the list.
Right.
And the lowest is Serbia. Actually, it's under 1 kg per person per year. Okay, Hong Kong is about 38 kg per person per year.
In your view, what is a rightful place for rice in the history books?
It's said about between 8,500 years to 13,500 years ago, people start eating rice and start cultivating rice. It started off, according to some of the history book, it started from the Yangtze River in China. And then people started bringing the rice out to different areas through migration and also trading. And they actually trace back of how the culture actually moved around the world with rice.
Well, how did the habit of eating rice spread to the world? You mentioned as people move, migrate. Are there other factors or reasons or historic moments that contributed to spread of the rice eating culture?
Yes, actually rice eating is very linked to the culture and also linked to the technology, strange enough. You can see a lot of people actually enjoy now the rice in soup in Shanghai area, the rice in, they call it ochazuke, which is the rice in green tea in Japan. But why would they do it? Why would they put the rice in liquid, like in soup or in green tea? So when they mill the rice, they still have some sand or some rocks, some stones in the rice. So they can't really eat the rice in one big mouthful. So when you put the liquid in the rice, actually all the sand and all the rocks and all the stones actually goes to the bottom. And then you can have a full mouthful of rice and you can enjoy it. So next time when you're in the countryside and when you have some sand on your mouth, in the mouthful of the rice, and then you just put some liquid in there, maybe water, maybe tea, maybe soup, and then you can have a very nice mouthful of rice to eat. So that is actually part of the culture. So in Shanghai, people eat a lot of soup rice, and in Japan they eat a lot of tea rice or rice with tea. And for example, in Vietnam, the milling machines wasn't all that good. It's easy to break the rice. The drying, because of the drying, the rice it's easy to break. When the rice break easy, though, they have this broken rice cuisine, and this is why it's very unique to that culture.
So I thought they break it up just to have a special.
No, it's actually at that now they break it up. But originally, it's easy to break. The rice is maybe the drying is not so the techniques is not so high, so the rice breaks up. And because it's long grain, the rice breaks up. And once the rice breaks up, and then people say, okay, how do I eat? It's still rice, but how do I eat the broken rice? So they create a broken rice cuisine. So that's why rice is very attached to the different culture, just like chopsticks. So different culture has different, even if they use chopsticks, they have a different way of eating rice.
Well, how is the industry rising to new challenges? You have COVID-19 increasing the cost of transportation. You have urbanization, presumably if less people work in the farms. How are you rising to the challenge?
So I think it's more like internationally, yes, urbanization, but yet you have another technique. For example, you have modernization of the machineries. So even with less farmers, they still have a lot of productivity for the rice and the yield of the rice. You look at the Chinese development. The Chinese actually, the hybrid rice, the yield has gone up a lot. So we divided into the growing yield and also the post-harvesting yield. So both are actually increasing. For example, in previously, you talk about the yield from a paddy with husk and with brown or bran and everything. The yield is around about 40%. Now, some of the rice has already gone up to 50-something percent, 53, 54%. Right. So the yield, when the yield increases, that means the quantity that you can produce has increased. So this actually will counter the negative effect of urbanization. As a matter of fact, we have a lot of increment actually in yield and the quantity. The trading of rice is actually increased 10% from the year before to this year. So it may be because of COVID or maybe because of the difficulties in, for example, wheat export. So rice actually replaced that. And we have enough rice for that.
What is the difference in a grain of rice, pricing-wise?
Well, they're all different. It's all demand and supply. It's basic economics. Okay, so the less you grow, and if it tastes good, the higher the price, right? So it's also depending on the number of growth per year. For example, some of the commodity rice, you talk about 3 to 4 growth per year. Right. Okay. Right. That will be, those are the commodity rice. So the fragrant rice, or even the Japanese rice, or the Taiwanese rice, or the northern Chinese rice, you talk about there's only 1 growth a year. So they are more expensive rice. It's just economics.
Anthony, are rice producers using satellite systems to help increase yield?
Yes. As a matter of fact, now they use drones. So they use drones to sow the seeds, and then they use drones to fertilize it and to do a lot of things to mark actually the area so that each and every square inch can have the exact amount of fertilizers and pesticides on it. So it's very high tech, especially in the Southeast Asia and in China.
And what is your view on GMO rice?
Well, GMO rice, it's a big question. Okay, the industry is ready, the technology is ready, but whether the people accept it, that's the question. Basically, GMO solves the world food problem. With GMO, there won't be any hunger in the world, but it's whether the people accept it or not. One of the key area of discussion now is whether they should turn off or turn on the reproduction gene of the GMO rice. Well, there are two arguments for that. So the first argument, if you turn off the reproduction gene, the problem is that when the seed company will control all the rice seed. Okay, once the rice is grown and drop on the ground, it doesn't grow again. On the other side, if you don't turn off the reproduction gene, that means when that's wind or whatever, your seed goes into another field. That means you cannot control which one is GMO rice field, which one is not GMO rice field. So now there are two arguments on it. So, but yet, I think the first problem can be solved when more government control to be in there, instead of like private companies controlling the seed. In Australia, I think they have a very good system. Actually, the farmers own the cooperative, and the cooperative do all the business relating to rice, including growing the seed and cultivating the seed. Okay, at the end, all the profit goes back to the farmers, which is very equitable, I think. So instead of you talking about corporate doing all these greedy things, it's ended up more sustainable, more equitable, back to the profit is actually back to the farmers. So if that can be pushed into other countries, I think that would be a very good way of doing the rice business there.
I hear you're also a rice connoisseur and a historian yourself. Which is your favorite rice and why?
So I would say, Nick, rice is very interesting. It's very much like pairing. like red wine. But nobody actually says how to pair rice. But if I give you the best fragrance rice, and then I ask you to eat sushi with it, you don't like it. Or even eat the eel rice, the unagi, you don't like it, right? It doesn't match. So on the other hand, if I give you the best Japanese rice, and then you cook in a clay pot in Hong Kong, it doesn't match. So the minute you eat the rice, you think, it's not like that. So it's like pairing.
Yes.
So you have a special rice, for example, if you eat risotto, you do the Italian rice.
Anthony, what advice would you give to young people who wish to join the rice industry or wish to support the development of food tech?
The rice industry or the food industry is basically like any other industry. It has a lot of opportunities to grow and develop, especially on the technology area. So from what we have developed so far, from zero to bag rice, to vacuum pack rice, to rice with handle, the bag with handle, and then to the degradable bags, and now to the instant rice that is pre-cooked. Okay, there are a lot of development on the rice. So these are all opportunities for the young people to grow.
Thank you, Anthony. And we'll be right back after the break.